You're watching GearZ, brought to you by LMC Truck. Keep 'em on the road.
There's no doubt that the Jeep is one of the most iconic vehicles ever built, because not only have they always been an amazing off-road rig right off the showroom floor, but they're also conducive to all kinds of modifications, so you can literally build one into whatever you want. But there is one other design feature that the Jeep has always had since the very beginning that really helps identify it, and that is the removable top. Now, the early Jeep tops weren't much more than a canvas flap, and as more people began using their Jeeps as daily drivers, the need for a better top became apparent. And the Jeep world quickly became divided into two groups, the hardtop guys and the soft top guys. And for years, the general consensus was the hardtop was more solid and weatherproof, so you put it on in the winter. And then when spring rolled around, you put the soft top on to enjoy the sun. But it was noisy and drafty, and you were going to get wet when it rained. Well, Bestop decided it was time to change people's perspective of the soft top, and they came out with the new Trektop for the JL Jeep. Now, the goal here was very simple. It needed to be something that was easy to install, it had to have all kinds of different configurations and options, and it had to be something that was fully enclosed and weatherproof, like a hardtop. Yeah, those are pretty lofty goals from this pile of parts sitting here on the table. So we are going to put those goals to the test by pulling off this hardtop, showing you how to put on a Trektop, and then comparing it to a factory hardtop. Okay, to get a starting point, we took the Skyjacker Jeep down the road to see what kind of noise was going on inside. And on the interstate at 70 miles an hour with those big 40-inch tall off-road tires, we measured in the ballpark of 68 to 70 decibels. The next stop was the car wash to not only measure for noise levels. All right, here comes the water blaster. It's on the windshield. And here we go, it's getting ready to come right over the top. It gets pretty loud in here. It's pretty loud at this point. But also check for leaks. And as expected, the hardtop was tight and dry. Still no leakage. In the styling department, the hardtop looks like a big square box. And the removable front panels are nice, but they're big and cumbersome, and you need a place to store them if you take them out. Okay, with that established, we're going to unbolt this hardtop and get it out of the way. And all it requires is the removal of 8 bolts and disconnecting a couple plugs. One cool feature about the JL Jeep is that it comes with its own special toolkit for removing the top and a place to store the hardware, so you have no excuse if you lose the bolts. Some common issues that people have with a hardtop is that you need an extra set of hands to lift it off, and you need a place to put the thing once you have it off, where it won't get damaged. And that can be a challenge because it's big and cumbersome, and it won't fit just anywhere. Okay, with the hardtop out of the way, we're ready to start putting the Trektop together. So first, we're going to assemble these rear door rails and get all the brackets in place. Now, these little pivot brackets like this, they come with these special little Delrin bushings. So you want to make sure you don't over-tighten them, just make them snug. Then we'll install the rear door rail assembly, the front door rail assembly, and the tailgate bar retainer on the Jeep. Notice how they pop into place with the locating tabs, and they seal snugly against the factory weather stripping. And as you can see, there's no drilling required, and all the necessary hardware is included. Okay, now we are ready for the top bows, and there's 3 of them. First one is this big one that goes across the back, followed by this smaller one, and then followed up by this one that's got the pivot points. And there is this mesh panel that goes between the 2 center bows. The header deck assembly that's attached to the top material is next, and you set it in place, and then it just mounts to the front door brackets, and then you connect the arms to the second bow. Then we just unfold the top material across the bows, and this is starting to look like a top. See, it's not that difficult, and we're almost done. Hey, welcome back to GearZ, where we are in the process of putting a new Bestop soft top on this JL Jeep to see how it compares with the factory hardtop. Now, as you can see, we already have the inner structure in place, the top material is on, and it's pretty obvious that this is going to look different back here than that old square hardtop, which is great. But it's also pretty obvious we're going to have to do something pretty significant back here if we're going to get it to seal up like a factory hardtop. So let's see what we got. For the sides, we've got these quarter panels that are made out of the same heavy-duty black twill material that the top is made out of. And this is the same stuff that you'll see on Mercedes or BMW convertibles. So you know it's going to last, it's going to look good, and it's not going to leak. Now, they also have plastic windows bonded right in, so those aren't going to shrink, they're not going to crack, and they're not going to leak on you. Now, for the rear panel, same thing. Got a big panel and a big plastic window bonded right into it. Now, if you'll notice, these panels have all kinds of zippers and Velcro and weather stripping all strategically located all over them. That's what's going to make them easy to put in. Check it out. The quarter windows slide in place under the upper flap on the top, and there's a stiffener panel in the rear that hooks over the rear bow and then fastens to the rear corner of the body tub. The rear window slides in the same way and then connects to the quarter window panels with heavy-duty zippers. A tailgate bar slides onto the bottom of the rear window and then snaps into the brackets that we installed earlier. Now, at this point, some of you might be thinking, well, I see what they were trying to do here, but obviously Bestop forgot something because there's no snaps here, there's no zippers, there's not even any weather stripping. So how is this panel going to connect to the body and be weatherproof? Well, these Jeeps have a belt rail that's right here in the body. And as you can see, Bestop continued it right up these door supports. And if you'll notice, the top has this hard plastic piece sewn right in. So all you do is just roll that hard plastic piece right into that belt groove and snap it in. You can see it pulls the canvas tight and gives you a 100% waterproof seal. It's the same right down here along the bottom. Just snap it in. Okay, once the sides and the back are all sealed, it's just a matter of zipping in the rest of the window, rolling these Velcro flaps over, and your soft top is ready to go. And that brings up the question, how does this new Trektop compare to the factory hardtop? Well, let's take a look at that. Number one, was it easy to install? Well, yeah, it's just some brackets and hardware that fit in the stock locations. Number two, does it have different configurations and options? Well, let's take a look at that. The Sunrider top can be opened or closed by one person in the driver's seat in just a few seconds. That is much better than the removable panels in the factory hardtop. The top can also be run with just the back window out, or as a bikini top with the back and the side windows out. And finally, the Fastback styling of the Trektop just looks a lot more sporty than that big square hardtop, although you will lose a little bit of cargo space. The big question, though, is durability. Is it fully enclosed, quiet, and completely waterproof? Well, there's only one way to find out. Subject it to the same test that we did to the hardtop. So, running down the road at 70 miles an hour on the interstate, our decibel meter is showing about 65 decibels, which is actually less than the hardtop and is very respectable since we only have this heavy-duty twill canvas separating us from the elements. The big test, however, was the car wash. All right, this is the moment of truth. Windows up, everybody ready to go? We are going to test this soft top. Okay, the main places we're going to be watching is around the header panel up here, and then around the doors. Obviously the windows and stuff will be the same since it's the original doors. But the header panel and up around the top of the doors and in through the sides is where we're going to really see if this thing's going to be watertight or not. And with the water pounding on us in every direction, the soft top was definitely louder than the hard top, but not a drop leaked in around the doors, the window, or the side seals. No water coming through the back. Top. Nothing up here. Not a drop. Not a drop. Nothing coming in anywhere. And considering the fact that this is a soft top that spans the length of a four-door vehicle, that is amazing.